Did you ever see John the 23rd alive?
No, but I went as a child to see his body in the basilica.
Oh, really?
I was living by...
Just after he died, you mean?
I lived by not far, and I was passing by the square every evening because I was going to the movie with a friend of mine living there. So I could see mounting the amount of people there, and I could see the window that was dark, covered. On that evening I saw the light, so I thought he's dead. They opened the curtains.
Wow.
He died at 6 p.m. something. At 7:30 I was coming back and I saw that.
Wow.
So that is
That's
big
the
memory
first early memory
of John the 23rd. Oh, buongiorno.
Good morning, buongiorno.
Che prendiamo?
Fate ancora il caffè? Macchiato.
Va benissimo.
Americano?
Va benissimo.
Thank you. Oh, nice. And Paul VI?
Paul VI is very interesting. The community of Sant'Egidio loved Paul VI. Somehow we were born with the Second Vatican Council, the word of God in the hands of the faithful. Before that, in Italy, it was not so common, the Bible. The Bible was a Protestant thing, not a Catholic thing. And we were young people, lay people. So, but then Paul VI was the one who implemented the Second Vatican Council, but we never met him. But on the very last June, St. Paul's feast, the patron of Rome, he was celebrating at the Basilica of St. Paul. We got the tickets, and we got, Andrea Riccardi and myself, the communion from his hands. He had green robes, velvet green robes, and he was walking, helped with small structure, and that was the only meeting. Instead, John Paul II, on the very first visit to Rome, to the periphery, Garbatella, we had a kindergarten for children, kids of single mothers, by the monastery that he was visiting at the end of that day. It was the second week of his pontificate. And he, instead of going to the big convent, entered in the small door that was the side house that the nuns had given us for this purpose.
Right.
And then he sat down at the small table of the kids and said, "Tell me about Rome." And there were all the drawings and so, and we started to say of the problems of that place and so. And he said, "Oh, now you tell me more about Rome. He is my secretary, call him, I want to know more."
Wow.
And we started from the very first time.
Incredible.
And when there was the first racist, terrible action in Rome, a Somali man was burned while he was dying, sleeping. And we felt that it was the beginning of the intolerance. And we invited John Paul II to pray with us on the next Saturday on that place, Arco della Pace by Piazza Navona. And we wrote a letter through the secretary saying, Gregory the Great, meeting a starving, dead, homeless, said, "Today I will not celebrate. Today is Good Friday because that is Jesus, that man. And we want to pray like that." And incredibly, he said yes.
Wow.
And then, but there were elections, there was a demonstration of the far wing against it. And then we met him, but just nearby because it was not a safe place. And on the next Sunday, he said at the Angelus, well, we must start to welcome these people.
Absolutely incredible. You know, I think I told you that I met him in when he was writing Centesimus Annus, which was unbelievable because I was advising the Polish government at the time.
After you met him, he remembers you. It was amazing. Probably the man in the world that met more people in his life.
I don't know how
But
you
some-
say that, but I met him again in 1999. I came with Bono to talk about debt relief. And we were in a line, we went to the Castel Gandolfo, and we were in a line to greet him one by one. And the bishop, Bishop McDermott from Ireland, was introducing each one. He went up and he said, "This is Mr. Sachs." And the Pope said, "I know who he is. I know him." This was amazing, actually.
This is an experience that many had.
This was
Because
amazing.
Assisi, 1986, the first world prayer for peace, the spirit of Assisi. After the Christian prayer, all the Christian leaders go down the street and arrive in the main square in front of the mayor, mayor square. And at that point, it is blocked, of course, and I am at the side. But the secretary of the Pope knows me, and he knows that he knows me, or he knows, and then he says, come in, and the police said, okay. They open the passage, and I enter the same passage. I'm here, and they are coming. I have a camera. And then he says, you can do it. All the photographers of the world were downstairs waiting for the Pope. I was the only one with a camera inside the palace. And then I said, okay, I do like that. And I realized that it was still not digital. I had got to the 35th picture. So I made as if I was taking pictures for all the time.
Right.
I was the only one photographer with that real camera.
Pope Francis also reaches the whole world clearly in an unbelievable way. I think his smile just alone is something incredible.
I think that when
because you feel, I mean, the humanity is overwhelming actually in his presence.
Probably he is the Pope that more without fewer mediation reminds us of Jesus and of the first century of Christianity. Not because he tries to be it, because he is that. And I think that I have the image
and that's his theology. It's the pure Jesus. What did Jesus say? What did he teach? That's how I live.
It's not ideology, yeah. It is very close to the gospel.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean. It
like St. Francis.
Yeah. You feel the Beatitudes, that's it.
And he chose the name of Francis, being a Jesuit. But now we understand why. And during the first terrible wave of COVID, when all the world was in lockdown, and Italy was the first country after China to declare a lockdown, we are still alive because of these lockdowns, whatever people can say about it.
Yeah.
And then he went to St. Peter's Square alone, a world prayer to be safe, to find a way out. And he was alone on a rainy day, walking alone in the square, and then this prayer alone in front of the world, everything empty, and saying nobody can be so illuso to think that we can save each other by ourselves. We must be together. Nobody can feel that can be safe without the others, and so on. And then he was the father of the world. He was expressing the prayer of the world. Just one man, alone, without people, without power, without anything. And a special crucifix that is We love it in Rome, in a church. It's normal in a church. He wanted that crucifix. He, the cross, we, the world, watching, he alone.
We love the story of another story of the Pope in the rain when he was Archbishop of Buenos Aires. Do you know this story? He would walk everywhere, of course. That was so famous of him. He's the great pastor of the community, so he was walking in the rain, pouring rain, and there was the Archbishop soaked, and a priest was driving by and honked and opened the window and said, "Archbishop, come in, it's pouring rain, I'll take you." He said, no, I'll walk. No, come on, it's pouring rain. No, I should walk. And the priest said to him, "But Archbishop, I feel so terrible. My Archbishop is walking in the rain, and here I am dry in the car driving it. It's not right." And Francis says, "You're right, park the car and come walk with me."
It makes sense.
Exactly.
It is what we think he is, him. And teaches us this. By him, I'm always struck and moved by a simple story. No story, I saw that. We were in the square of St. Peter's with the youth, a big gathering of the youth. I was there even when not the youth, but I was there. And then questions and answers with the youth. And then a first question, how we to give alimony, elemosina,
charity.
How we to give charity to the beggars. And he says, well, when I confess people, unfortunately as a pope now, I do not have this chance so much, but I love it. I always have a question. When you, yes, you must give, but when you give a coin, do you look in the eyes of the person that is begging for that coin? And then he says, I don't remember. I give charity, but I don't remember. Then I have another question. When you, after giving that coin, do you touch the hand of that person? Mm-hmm. That is the flesh of Jesus. Mm-hmm. Anytime I remember this, I become a different person.
He teaches humanity. And I think also his most recent encyclical, the Fratelli Tutti, for me, is probably the most important document about globalization and living in the world today, because it's all about how can we understand the other, and it's all about encounter and dialogue, looking the other in the eye, touching the hand of the other. And it's a basic lesson which we don't understand very well in the world. And I think the fact that he felt compelled, because he speaks so much about how the world is fragmented, and of course he says we're already in World War III. We have to stop to teach the basics of how to get along with another, and to come back to the parable of the Good Samaritan as foundational. That of course you help the person lying in the street, and it's the Samaritan, not the Jew who helped the Jew lying in the street. That this is the crucial point for survival of the world. It's his lesson, it's the core lesson, reach out to others.
He speaks of social charity and social friendship. But the Good Samaritan is crucial, because it is not the caricature of the Good Samaritan that we have in our public speech. It's not to be patronizing, to be bending on someone. In the Orthodox tradition, in the Oriental Church's tradition, there is an icon of the Good Samaritan, where the Samaritan and the person that is half dead have the same face. And it is Jesus, in both cases. And this is the reality. And if we do not,
so interesting.
We do not live like that, we will be half dead, and nobody will stop by us. This is an obvious truth that nowadays world starts to forgetting. In this moment, that is a very complicated moment for the world. Even diplomacy does not talk to each other. Diplomacy is talking, is negotiating, is knowing the other one. This is what helped the world in many occasions to stop wars, to understand, to know each other, because we do not know some far worlds. Now we have the impression that we know everything. We do not know the mentality of the other people. And then now even diplomacy seems not to have the permission to talk.
Diplomacy is sound bites now. It's the opposite of actually getting to know the other. It's standing in front of a camera and telling, you must do that. And they yell at each other at the UN Security Council. They don't talk to each other.
That is, in my opinion, at the time of the crisis of Cuba 6 years ago, there was a real, you know that better than me, not only just as an American, but because you know many more details than I know, but we were very close to a real nuclear war.
Of course.
But at that time, even at that time, we had diplomacies that were still talking to each other.
One of the amazing things actually that saved the world was that just after Kennedy was elected, he sent a letter to Khrushchev, so this is back in 1960, said let's communicate with each other and we can have a back channel where we're just writing to each other. I promise you, Chairman Khrushchev, I won't publicize this, I won't use any of our communications. It'll just be us, a couple of my aides will see it, but that's all. And they had hundreds of communications actually, which were not known at the time. They've been put in a compendium. It's amazing reading, some of it very, very frank. But in the end, it actually saved the world that they had that personal communication. One of the most stunning is in 1961, when the United States invades Cuba in the Bay of Pigs invasion, one of the most stupid, disastrous American moves imaginable. Khrushchev writes to Kennedy in this back channel, says, Mr. President, some international pirates operating in your government, rogue people, have made this terrible international crime and you must stop it. And Kennedy wrote back actually one of the worst letters. It was a period when American presidents were constantly lying to the Soviet leaders. Kennedy wrote back, Mr. Chairman, I don't know what you're talking about. This has nothing to do with us. And then Khrushchev writes back this incredibly frank, completely Khrushchev style letter. Mr. President, don't ever talk to me this way. You know this is a U.S. operation. This is a lie. You must stop it. So there's this extremely frank back and forth, and this goes on for 2 years. Then comes the crisis, and all of Kennedy's advisors are saying that absolutely we have to attack, military strike. Of course, everything they thought about that was wrong, because they said the missiles aren't in place yet, we can take them out, there are only a few Soviet troops and so on, everything wrong. But Kennedy was the one person inside the group, and he had a couple of crucial advisors, especially the U.S. ambassador to the UN at the time, Adlai Stevenson, and then his brother, Robert, who said, caution. But all the rest, attack, attack, attack. And what saved the world in the end was Kennedy had a human sense of Khrushchev, because they were in direct dialogue with each other. They had written by that time more than 100 letters to each other, and Kennedy kept saying, and the advisors couldn't understand it, what's in his mind? Why is he doing it? What does he want? And Kennedy realized that Khrushchev was in a delicate situation himself, and that we have to find the way for both of us to pass through the door together. And they did it. And it's the human side.
And when Sant'Egidio brokered the peace accord in Mozambique, 26 months of negotiations, 11 rounds. And it was between 1990 and 1992. The first case, successful case of real war, a civil
Incredible
war.
breakthrough.
The only case of non-governmental mediation that had a success in such cases. 1 million people died at that time. But when they arrived in Rome for the first time, they had not seen each other. They have been fighting for 14 years against each other, killing, and they were asking us, how do they look like?
Oh my God.
And how are they dressed?
It's crazy.
And we bought the clothes of the guerrillas men, otherwise they could not be believable. At the same time, they did not know what the other really wanted.
Yeah.
So they were scared of saying immediately what they wanted, because if the other one was saying yes, they were thinking we are wrong. So we had to understood what really they wanted, even if they did not know what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the real work. So to create the communication and the language, trying to understand what was inside each of them. This is how the human factor. And then at a certain moment it was stuck, the negotiation. We collected signatures in Mozambique. Among the signatures, there was the signature of the father of the head of the guerrilla, Renamo, saying, we do not want this war, we are dying. And he saw the letter of his father at the top of those letters. Then I think it had an effect.
Incredible. And of course it has an effect, a huge effect. We need to do this with Ukraine.
We will.
We need to do this with Ukraine.
We will.
We need to get Carol and Son and Gidio and a group together and talk, because it's actually the same story. There's a way out of this.
There's always a way out.
And there's a way out that's quite apparent. And it's incredible. Okay, we're going to do that. Next stop.
Without cornetto, but with a bomba con la crema. Ciao.